Hello folks, this is Jay from Dumpster Diving Life, coming to you with my very first show and tell dumpster diving video. I've been meaning to make this for a long time, and in fact I did make one back in late July, early August, and for whatever reason, when I went to play it back and upload the video, nothing was there. So I finally got it together, got a little room in my workshop, which we are slowly getting ready and preparing to be a proper workshop. I hired out the last bit of drywall work, and yeah, it's coming along nicely, but I have a long way to go. A long way to go. These walls hopefully will soon have the hundreds of tools that I have, hand tools and power tools, on the walls. But I digress. That is not why I'm making this video. This video is to show you a haul I have taken exclusively from Harbor Freight. Not all of these items were found in one haul. As a matter of fact, the majority of them were taken over this entire year, 2019. I'll go ahead and start and explain some of these as I go along. These are not necessarily in order of when I found them. I do have a log when I did find them. Yes, I log everything I find in my dumpster diving adventures, as you should too, because I certainly can't remember from day to day, week to week, month to month. But let's just dive in and I'll see if my memory holds well. But again, there's probably going to be some overlap and scattered dates, but I won't get too bogged down with that. Let's first start left to right with this hand truck or dolly. This was an item I discovered in a dumpster at Harbor Freight in my town, and it's exactly as you see it. The tires still had air in them. They weren't cut. Thank you, Harbor Freight, for not cutting the tires. Thank you for not damaging it anymore. The only issue was this here. This guard was bent so far over it rubbed on this tire, and this tire could hardly move. Well, I pounded it out with a hammer a little too far, as you can see, compared to this one. That's really what it's supposed to look like. And it rolls and works and functions just fine. A brand new dolly. And interestingly enough, I found two more within a couple of weeks. And if you dumpster dive consistently, you will find, at least I have, that you will run into like a rule of three. And by that I mean you'll find the same item over and over again over a period of days or weeks, as I did with this dolly. I found two more, maybe three, now that I think about it, within just a matter of weeks. Really odd how it works, but this is not the first time that's happened. So just an interesting side note on being consistent in the things you'll find. So a good find, an expensive dolly, I believe it was about $135, $140 on a regular sale price or regular price. A great find. I use them a lot, and I have a couple more, one in a different property and several here. Guys, this is not everything I found this year from Harbor Freight. I want to make that clear. This is just some of the items. Just some of the items. There's much more smaller items and other items that repeat, as this dolly, that I didn't want to haul in here and overcrowd this little shop I have. So moving on, this tree, actually it's a tree pruner. I found him within days of finding a tree saw. It's one of those rope saws. He's a pruner and he works fine. Most of these items you'll find in Harbor Freight's dumpsters have a tag on them, which I'll show you here in a minute. And they'll tell you why they return and what's wrong with them, allegedly. And I say allegedly because some of them will say this is broken or it doesn't work, and you'll bring it home and test it and it works fine. And I don't know if that's just because the person turning it in didn't want to admit that he didn't need it. Maybe he was taking it as just a rental item. Some people do that. They'll buy an item at a store, use it, and then return it with some excuse that it didn't work. That way they didn't have to pay for it, and they didn't have to pay rental fees. So maybe this guy was just a rental item. But I'm telling you, I've tested him. He works fine. Nothing wrong with it. Coming on down to these drills, these long drill bits. They're both wood bits. This one's pretty obvious. He broke right there. I don't know if it broke in the store or if it broke after the customer bought it, but he returned it, got his money back, and they just tossed it in the dumpster. This one, interestingly, really interesting. Perfect shape, excellent shape. Why was it returned and tossed in the dumpster? Because it was open. That was it. I don't even think it was used. I don't know. Moving on, and this was just a recent find, guys. He's not in the box, he's on my workbench. I'll not show you here in a minute. Tossed into the dumpster. Surely I thought if this thing had to be broken, something had to be wrong with it. No. I tested it and tested it and checked it and checked it. It works fine. The only thing is the paint is peeling about here and over here. There was no tag on it like they usually have, so it didn't explain why it was returned. But they tossed it in the dumpster. Works fine. It's now on one of my small workbenches. Interesting. This here, I believe it's a 3-foot level. No tag on it. No reason why it was returned. But it was definitely used, but it's perfectly serviceable. It levels fine. All the glass vials are there, and nothing's wrong with it. I couldn't tell you. Moving on to this guy here, a floor scraper. Very sharp. I've used it since then. It was almost pristine when I got it. But the tag on it said used. So someone took it, bought it, maybe used it, maybe they cleaned it up, I don't know. But it was tossed in the dumpster. Every one of these bolt cutters you see, every one of them were returned as damaged. And some of the damage is pretty obvious. See the chip there? Damaged. That's a 36-inch bolt cutter. It still works fine. I just used it recently. It works fine. This one's a little bit more chewed up and beat up. Don't know how he'll work, if at all, but I took it anyway just to see. Another 36-incher. This one here, same thing. I never saw what was wrong with it. It's really hard to open and close. Maybe that's the deal. I don't know. It didn't have a tag. This one, this bolt was loose, so it didn't close all the way. It still doesn't close all the way. I've adjusted it a few times. I just need to adjust it a little bit better, but I'll assure you it'll work fine. This one, another one, no tag, no reason why it was returned. It is also hard to open, but no chips, no damage. It works fine. Moving on down on the floor before I get too far ahead of myself. These blades. I found a lot of these blades. And you may recall these from a video I made while I was in another city. I found these and a whole bunch more smaller ones. 3-inch, 6-inch. I've already sold several of these on local apps, and they go quick. I'm already having a lot of questions about these, inquiries, and I'm sure they'll go quick. I'm selling both for 40. I may even go down to 30. Why so low when they typically sell in the stores for about 30 each? Well, I got them for free, so why not? Another drill bit I didn't show. This was missing 2 of them, and there's one that's still perfectly fine. I'm not sure what the story behind that was, but it was also in the dumpster. Moving on. This pneumatic extended blow gun. Can you see what's missing? A little rubber tip that goes right here is missing. It's right here. That's where it should be. It was missing, tossed in the dumpster. I have a couple of these. I can always put the rubber tip on this one if I need it. I've got a spare. Really interesting. Moving on, these hedge clippers. These are really nice. I really like these guys. These are sharp. Listen to that. Nothing wrong with them. I don't recall that it even had a tag on it. I think sometimes what happens when they're purchased and returned, these originally had some type of packaging on them. Well, if the packaging is missing, they can't put it back on display. And once they refund the money, they just decide to toss it. I don't know why they wouldn't just put it in an open box, their discount display, but I found it in a dumpster. This guy here, same thing. It is a 7-piece long reach hex bit socket set. I count 7 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nothing's wrong with them down here. But guys, pardon the dust. The sheetrock job we just finished is still kind of left behind, and I still need to clean this out. But these were pristine when I found them, and I've already used a couple of them. They work fine. Moving on, these guys over here. The only thing I can think of, he wasn't tagged either. Only thing I can think of, this thing rusted pretty quickly, or maybe he was even rusted in the package. I don't know, because I think they just hang like this. I don't know. Same thing with these guys. There's no tag of what was wrong with them. But they look perfectly fine to me. I have yet to find a problem. I've already sold, this is not the first pair. Going back to the rule of 3, when I found these, a week later I found another set. And about a week later I found another set. I've sold most of them except this set and this one spade. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the package just being beat up. I really don't know. I can't say. Moving on. Let's go to some tools here. This is a 9-piece bolt extraction set. Here's aluminum. This one is missing 2 pieces. It's supposed to be 9 pieces. I'm counting 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 2 pieces missing. Pretty easy to understand. This one was really, really interesting. This one, the only thing wrong, which has since been replaced, I put this in here. This is my own ratchet. The ratchet wouldn't reverse in this set. So the person returned it. They returned his money, I'm assuming, and then tossed this whole thing in the dumpster. Look at this, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Moving on. This is it says, let's find out. It's a snap ring set. All these different size tools to remove snap rings. One was broken. One was broken. So they tossed it. Lucky find for me. Moving on to this compression test set or kit. Everything here except one connector. It was tossed. Interesting. Okay, back up on the wall. Now most of these items were found in another city, which I have recorded and made a video of. These were all in the same dumpster on the same day. And most of them didn't have a tag to explain what the problem was. They're not bent. They're easily readable. Some still have the tags on them. I don't know. This one's still wrapped in the cellophane. The cellophane's missing down here, only because I took it off accidentally. But perfectly good shape, as the other three here are. As this one is with its tag. I don't know, guys. This here clamp, it stated on the tag that it would not hold. Apparently this part would not hold. Well, I'm telling you now, I've used it several times. It holds. It works just fine. A 50-inch clamp cut edge guide for free. Back on down the floor. Onto the floor. Found a magnet. I have a couple of these already because when I do any work, any construction, I always lose screws and nails. So use these guys to try to pick them up. Haven't found a thing wrong with it. It's still oily. It's still covered in the oil from the factory. No chips. The eye hook is still connected strong. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's because the package was damaged. I'm not sure. Moving on down. This saw, this bow saw. I love this saw. This thing, it stated something was broken. I removed the tag. I shouldn't have done that. But I've used it. It's fine. I just can't see anything wrong with it. And yes, it came with the blade attached, an extra blade. Interesting. So, you just never know, guys. You never know until you go look. Moving on. Not done yet. And again, guys, remember, this is just some of the items. Not all I've found over the years. What you're going to see next mainly came from Austin, another city where I visited. This machete, perfectly good shape. He's got a little bit of damage there on the tip, just a tiny bit. But I think, if I remember right, I think this tear is what caused him to throw it away. This tear in the sheath. That's what caused that. Only about a $5 or $6 item, but still a cool find. This item here. Can you tell what's wrong with this item? 6-piece. I'm counting 6. There was no tag on it. Well, it took me a while, but all I can figure is this here. It was open. Nothing missing, nothing damaged. Perfectly useful panel trim removal set. Tossed in the dumpster. Still further, moving on. And again, guys, if you saw the video, there were more of these than I'm showing you now. These shovels, that's all. The pickaxe, large and small. This one still has the packaging partially on it. None of them had tags on them. I don't know what was wrong with them. Maybe the handles, maybe they were all returns. I don't know. But they were there. Same with this one. I believe I got more than one of them. I think I got 3 of these guys. And it did have a cover, some type of packaging on it. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was why it was tossed. But still, no damage, no issues. Handle isn't cracked. The axe head isn't cracked or chipped. Don't know. Again, going back to the rule of 3s, this is the 3rd creeper I found in a dumpster, Harbor Freight. This one is absolutely perfect. All the casters roll, they move, they're fine. The first one I found had a caster missing. It was actually broken off. I see a problem there. There it is. It looks like a little crack. Can you see that? Exactly where the first one I found was cracked. I put some liquid nails on it and I've used it. The kids have played on it. Works just fine. Again, rule of 3. There it is. So folks, on a consistent basis, you will find things. This is just some of it. And this is just Harbor Freight, and this is just for the year 2019, and it ain't over. Here we are coming on to fall, just a few hours away in my workshop with a nice livable 82 degrees, and just thought I'd show you my first show and tell. Have a lot to discuss, a lot more I'd love to show you guys. I'm going to leave you with one more, which I really find interesting. This guy here, and I did leave the tag on. It says it was returned because of a lifetime warranty. This thing was obviously used and abused. It's huge. This handle turns. I'm not even sure how to work this thing properly. But the ratchet indicator, the reverse and forward doesn't work. I did spray it with some lubricant. It hasn't moved. But it has obviously been used and abused. And they return the money to the customer and then toss this guy in the dumpster. I took it just because I was interested. I don't even need something like this. But it was just too cool to pass up. So there you have it, guys. My first show and tell of a dumpster diving haul exclusively from Harbor Freight. I'd like to show some more. I want to make some more videos of other places, Big Lots being one of them. I've gotten a lot of stuff from them. At home, where I got over a dozen rugs, brand new rugs. I'd like to show them, but most of them are scattered out now between my house, another property we have is a rental, and then storage, different storage areas. They're big. They go from 4 feet by 4 feet by 5 to 12 by 12. I mean, they are huge and beautiful. So maybe I'll grab a couple of those and show you, but I need to clean this thing up first before I bring them in here. I don't want to mess them up. So that's it, guys. That's my very first show and tell of a dumpster dive haul. Please like, please comment, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe. I try to do as many of these as I can. I enjoy doing it. I go diving several times a week, and I'm always finding something. Well, almost always. Sometimes you swing and you miss. So there it is, folks. That's just a portion of my finds. Hopefully, once I get this shop in order, you'll see these guys in their permanent homes, either on the walls or on some shelves. But either way, that's it for now. As always, guys, wear your gloves and keep on diving.